Hey guys, we're back in the shop and we're working on the rear floor riser. And I think you can see this here, the rusty one with the layout die is my pattern. And I cut another one out just exactly the same as that. And again, this is 14 gauge material. So I want to get this made so I can sandblast it along with the rear floor and all the hat channel, because it's out of that same sheet of hot rolled. And I like to sandblast that before I do any welding or painting on it. So that's what we got. Now on this welder Jeep, this cutout is just a hair bigger, because remember, we've got a PTO welder in there and we've got that huge pulley with all the belts coming up through. So I'm going to give us just a little more room in this area because it's kind of tight in there. We'll get this folded up, and then from here over to here, you know, all around here, we'll get a piece welded in a little higher than normal, because we need room, because it's pretty crowded down there, and it looks like they went in there and they started beating things around to get the welder and the PTO in there and everything. So we'll get set up on the brake and we'll put the bends in, and it's critical that the side bends, that the length of this thing is perfect, so that your side panels don't start puckering out and stuff like that where this goes in the Jeep. So we'll get our bends made in there nice and accurate, and I'll set the brake up and be right back with you. Okay, here's our first bend going in. Kind of a bear, bending 5 feet of 14 gauge, but we got the bending apron on and it's going okay. We'll get that bend in, and then we'll get the bottom bend in, and we're going to have to put the two end bends, the shorties, over on the finger brake. So we'll get these couple bends in and then meet you over at the finger brake. Okay, we're over at the finger brake, and I've got my floor riser die in there. I had to mill that one special to fit right in the floor riser, but that's what it gets most of its use out of. So we're going to get the piece in there, we're going to put that final bend on it. I'll see you over at the bench, and we'll get figuring out that piece for the center, get that cut and tacked in, and then welded in. So I'm going to put the final bend in now and meet you back over at the bench. Here's the piece with all our bends in it. We got the ends folded up. That end is good. Our measurement came out right on the money. So now we're going to take a piece of 14 gauge and follow this all around this opening. Sometimes when I make them, when they're the stock size, I'll fold the middle down too and just put two little filler tabs on each side here. But because we're making this one a little bit higher up in this area to give room for the PTO, I'm just going to weld a piece right in the whole thing. So we're going to saw a strip and tack it in, and I'll show you how that comes out. I can't get you the arc shots this week. Like I said in the last video, we have it figured out how to get nice welding shots. We're going to be bringing that to you pretty soon. I just don't have the correct camera to do it right now. So that has to come in, and then we'll be able to give you perfect welding shots. But for now, I'm going to get that welded up, and I can't show it on the camera. It's just going to be a bright light. But just stay with me, and the good welding shots are coming. We're going to do a whole series on that as we make the body parts, and hopefully by the time we get putting everything together, we'll be able to bring you some nice arc shots. So I'm going to get that piece cut, and we'll get putting it in. Okay, we're over here on the Pexto shear. Those belts are really squeaking today, but we're going to get that strip that we need for the rear floor riser. We're going to shear it now. Okay, I'll grab that and head over to the bench. Okay, this is where we're at so far. I just got a bunch of little pin tacks in there just to get the piece in there. And I'm using the Miller Dynasty 200DX. I've got a 3/32 tungsten, and I'm using 1/16 filler wire. So now we'll just go and we'll jump around, we'll connect all our tacks, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're finished with it. And then we'll dust over it with the grinder and smooth it out and make it look like one piece. So I'll be right back with you when I'm done finishing welding. Okay, here's the piece with the weld finished, and we're going to smooth that out, grind these areas down nice and get it looking better. So I'll use a little flap wheel on that, and I've got a belt sander that I like to get in the corners real good. So we'll get that going next. Okay, here's the finished piece. We've got it ground out, and you can see it looks good. There's no voids or anything in there. And I just used this little flap wheel on the grinder, and that gets the bulk of it down. It was a TIG weld, so there wasn't a lot to remove like if it was a MIG weld, so I just kind of washed over it with that. And then I use this air belt sander. That helps me get in these areas here and here. And then I use the portion of the belt right there that doesn't have a backup on it. And that makes a nice, that rounds that over like that real nice. So that's our finished piece. And we're going to put this in the pile with the rear floor and the hat channel. And hopefully it'll be nice this weekend. I'll get out there, I'll get everything sandblasted, get some epoxy primer and everything, and then get back and we'll start putting everything together. We'll get the whole back end together, and then we'll start working on getting the front together and making a whole tub out of it. So that's where we're at today. Feel free to comment or subscribe or hit the like button, something like that, and appreciate you watching. I know you got other choices out there, but appreciate you hanging with me. And we'll put something out next week. We may make the front side panels with the step to meet up with the rear quarters that we got already. So we might get those done, and we'll put the little, I'll show you how I put the little drain hole in there and stuff like that. But that'll be next week, and hopefully, like I say, we'll get out there this weekend, get everything sandblasted, and I'll show you what that looks like at the beginning part of next week. Okay, thanks again for watching.